Hi guys, welcome back to Princess Academy. We are on chapter 3. This time, it is yet again another long chapter, so I'm going to split it into two halves, but I hope you enjoy this half. Princess Academy by Shannon Hale, chapter 3, first half. Tomorrow's a red flush in the western sky. Tomorrow's a black hush in the middle night. Tomorrow swears the truth of now, and now, in the trembling blue gasp of the morning light. Before dawn, Mary woke to trumpeting. The same sound that in the day had been curious and even comical is now unsettling. Before she could stand, her pa was at the door, and what he saw made him frown. Mary's first thought was bandits. But why would they attack Mount Eskel? Every villager knew the story of the last bandit attack before Mary was born, when the exhausted outlaws had finally reached the village at the top of the mountain, only to find little worth stealing and a horde of men and women made stronger by years in the quarry. The bandits had run off with empty hands and a few more bruises and had never returned. "What is it, Pa?" asked Mary. "Soldiers." Mary stood behind him and peered under his lifted arm. She could see pairs of torch-bearing soldiers all over the village. Two approached their door, their faces visible by torchlight. One was older than her pa, tall, with a hard face, and the other seemed but a boy dressed up. "We've come to collect your girls," said the older soldier. He checked a thin wood board burned with marks that Mary did not understand. "Mida and Mary." Mida was standing on the other side of their pa now. He put his arms around their shoulders. The soldier squinted at Mary. "How old are you, girl?" 14, she said, glaring. "Are you certain? You look—" "I'm 14. The young soldier smoked at his companion. "Must be the thin mountain air." "And what about you?" The older soldier turned his doubtful gaze to Mida. "I'll be 18 in the 3rd month. He smacked his lips together. "Just missed it then. The prince will be 18 in the 5th month of this year, and no girl older than the prince is allowed. We'll just be taking Mary." The soldiers shifted their feet in the rock debris. Mary looked up at her pa. "No," Pa said at last. The younger soldier snorted and looked at his companion. "I thought you were joking when you said they might resist." "No," he says, as though it's a choice. He leaned forward and laughed. Mary laughed back loudly in the young soldier's face, surprising him into silence. She could not stand to have a lowlander mock her pa. "What a good joke, a joke pretending to be a soldier," said Mary. "But isn't it awfully early for you to be away from your ma?" He glared. "I'm 17, and—" "Oh, you really? That muggy lowlander does stunt a thing, doesn't it?" The young soldier started forward as if he would strike Mary, but her pa stepped in front of her, and the older soldier knocked back his companion and whispered angrily into his ear. Mary had enjoyed returning the insult, but now she felt cold and tired. She leaned closer to her pa and hoped she would not cry. "Sir," said the older soldier courteously, "we are here to escort the girls safely to the academy. These are the king's orders. We mean no harm, but I do have instructions to take any resistors directly to the capital." Mary stared, wishing the soldier would take it back. "Pa, I don't want you to get arrested," she whispered. "Lauren!" called one of the village men. Oates called out to their father. "Come on, we're meeting." The soldiers followed them to the village center. While the adults and soldiers conversed, Mary and Mida stood in a huddle of other village girls and boys, watching and waiting for a decision. The adults argued with the soldiers, who, in turn, tried to calm everyone and make assurances that their girls would be safe, well cared for, and as near as a 3-hour walk. "But how will we manage without the girls to help in the quarry?" asked Footsmall. Of course, no one asked, "How will we manage without Mary?" She folded her skinny arms and looked away. They argued about needing the girls, the shorter food supply that winter, the threat of arrest, and the unknown future the girls would meet at the academy. The soldiers continued to ask questions and claimed that attending the academy was an honor, not a punishment. Mary saw Oates ask her father a question, and after a thoughtful pause, her father nodded in agreement. Mary felt chills. "Girls, come on over," Oates shouted. The girls stepped away from the boys and made their way to the gathering of adults. Mary noticed that Mida stayed behind. "Girls," Oates looked them over and rubbed his beard with the back of his hand. Though he was large and was known for his temper, there was softness in his eyes. "We've all agreed that the best thing for you to do is attend the Lowlanders Academy." Sighs and moans rippled through the crowd. "Now don't worry, I believe these soldiers that all will be well with you. We want you to study hard and do your best and be respectful when you should. Go gather your things and I'll drag your feet. Show those lowlanders the strength of Mount Eskel." Suddenly Peter was beside her. "Are you going?" he asked. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. She shook her head, trying to rattle her thoughts straight. Oh, you? I mean, of course not you, a boy. I meant to ask, do you wish I weren't? Oh, just never mind. His mouth twisted into a mischievous smile. You want me to say that I'll miss you? I'll miss you. Who else can make a mess of everything? Walking away, Mary wished she could undo her words and say something nice, something sincere. She had turned to go back when she saw that he was talking with Bina and Leanna. Marta returned from their house with a bundle of clothes and a bag of food for Mary, and Pa pulled them both into his arms. Mary sank into his chest, his body blocking the light of torches and the sounds of goodbyes. Surely his embrace meant that he loved her, though he did not say it. Surely he would miss her, but Mary could not help wondering how he would react if Marta, the daughter who worked by his side, were going to the academy. Would he have protested more? Would he have refused then? Say that you would miss me too much, she thought. Make me stay. He only hugged her tight. Mary felt torn in half like an old shirt made into rags. How could she bear to leave her family and walk into some lowlander unknown? And how could she bear to admit that her pa did not care if she stayed? Her father's arms relaxed, and she pulled away. The noise of gravel underfoot said that most of the girls were already on the road. I guess I should get on, she said. Marta gave her a last hug. Pa only nodded. Mary took her time walking away in case he called out for her to come back. Just before leaving the village, Mary paused to look back. 4 dozen houses leaned against the strip walls of the dead quarry. At the edge of the village stood the stone chapel, its ancient wood door carved with the story of the Creator God first speaking to the people. The sky was rust yellow in the east, illuminating the village as though by firelight. She could see the hilltop where she spent afternoons with the goats and surprised herself by feeling a tiny flash of relief that she would not sit there today, watching the quarriers work below. The crunching noise of the girls on the march beckoned her with a promise of something different, a place to go, a chance to move forward. Hurry, said a soldier, bringing up the rear, and Mary complied. The girls had drifted into small groups as they walked, and Mary wasn't sure which to join. For the past few years, all her childhood friends had begun to work in the quarry, and Mary had grown used to solitude in her house and on the hilltop with the goats. Around others, Marta was usually by her side. Ahead walked Isa and Fred, and Mary jogged to catch up. Though Isa had no use of her left arm since a childhood accident, she still worked in the quarry when need was great, and Fred performed even the most difficult quarry tasks. Mary thought they were marvelous. If they thought Mary a burden on the rest of the village, as she had often feared, then she would never let them see she cared. Despite her uncertainty, Mary took Isa's hand. Village girls always held hands while walking. Dodo, Isa's mother, had once said that it was an old custom meant to keep them from slipping off cliffs, though Mary had felt as safe as a goat scampering alone on Mount Eskil since she was 5. Do you have any idea what all this is really about? Mary asked. Isa and Fred shook their heads. She eyed them, trying to read in their expressions if they wished she would go away. I'd wager this princess nonsense is a trick thought up by the traders, said Mary. My ma wouldn't let me leave if she thought I'd come to harm, said Isa. But she doesn't know what to make of it either. Fred was staring straight ahead as though looking at death itself. How would a prince decide who to marry anyway? Will they have a contest for the princess like we do in a holiday, lifting or running or throwing stones for distance? Mary laughed, realizing too late from Fred's serious expression that she had not meant it as a joke. Mary cleared her throat. I don't know, but I have a hard time believing lowlanders marry for love anyway. Do lowlanders love anything? Said Fred. Their own smells, I imagine, said Mary. At least there will be one less stomach to fill in my house, said Isa, glancing back as if thinking about home. Her voice softened. Look, there's Britta. I can't believe she's going too. She's a lowlander, said Fred, but she's been on the mountain all summer, so I guess she means to stay, said Isa. Mary glanced over her shoulders at Britta, walking alone between 2 groups. The lowlander girl was 15 and delicate, as though she had never wrangled a goat or pounded out a wheel of cheese. Her cheeks were ruddy like the sun side of an apple, and the feature gave her a merry, pretty look when she flashed a rare smile. I've never spoken to her, said Mary. She's never spoken to most people, said Isa. Doesn't she ignore everyone who talks to her? She did in the quarry, said Fred. She carried water this summer, but when the workers asked for a drink, she acted as if she were deaf. After a couple of weeks, O said, "What's the use?" and sent her home. The story had circulated that one of her lowlander parents had died in an accident. Her only living relations had turned out to be distant cousins from Mount Eskil. So one spring morning, Britta had come riding out on a trader wagon with a bag of clothes and food supplies brought from the sale of her parents' remaining possessions. At least now she was wearing a shirt and leggings like the rest of them instead of dresses cut from dyed cloth. "Can't believe Peter thinks she's pretty," said Isa. Mary coughed. "He does? I don't think she is. I mean, she acts like she's too good to talk to anyone." "All Landers think they're above us," said Fred. "We're the ones on the mountain," said Mary. "So aren't we the ones above them?" Isa smirked at one of the soldiers, and Fred made fists. Mary smiled, warmed by their shared sentiments. For 3 hours, they wove around the puddles, holes, and boulders of quarries long ago abandoned, till at last they spied the roof of the academy. Mary had seen it 6 years ago when the village held their spring holiday inside its stone walls. Afterward, they had deemed the walk too long to do so again. It was called the Stone Minister's House, and the villagers assumed that the structure had once housed a court minister who oversaw the quarry. No such person now lived on the mountain, but the house did prick in Mary a desire to see what other wonders there might be in a lowland kingdom, just out of her sight. Even from afar, Mary could detect a white gleam. Polished splendor had been laid as a foundation, and the only finished splendor she had ever seen. As though the rest of the house had been built from gray rubble rock, the stones were squared, smoothed, and fitted together with perfection. 3 stairs led to the main door and columns supporting a carved pediment. Workers perched on the roof fixing weather damage. Other lowlanders replaced empty windows with glass panes, pulled up grass growing beneath the floor, stones and steps, and swept away years of dirt. The arriving girls milled around, peeking into wagons or gawking at the commotion. There were 20 of them, from Gertie, who was barely 12, to Bina, who was 17 and a half. A woman appeared in the building entrance. She was tall and lean, her cheeks sunken, her hair flat on the end like a chisel. She waited, and Mary felt self-conscious about the mountain girls, all standing about and staring, unsure of what to do. "Step closer," said the woman. Mary tried to line up even with the others, but no one else seemed to have her idea. They formed a small mob rather than a straight line. "I see. I did not underestimate the degree of finishing mountain girls would require." The woman pressed her lips in a twitch. "I am Alana Men's daughter. You will address me as Tutor Alana. I've heard about Denlands, outlying territories, no towns, no marketplace, no noble families. Well, once you pass these columns and enter this building, you're agreeing to obey me in all things. I must have absolute order in this academy if ever I am to turn uneducated girls into ladies. Is that understood?" Fred squinted at Alana. "So, are you saying that we don't have to go to the academy if we don't want to?" Alana clicked her tongue. "This is even worse than I expected. I may as well set up the academy in a barn." Fred's expression became troubled, and she looked around trying to fathom what she had done wrong. "Please excuse our rudeness, Tutor Alana." Qatar stepped forward. Her curly hair was reddish like the clay beds beside the village stream. She was the tallest girl after Bina, and she held herself as though she were taller than any man and twice as tough. "We must seem pretty rustic to you," said Qatar, "but we are ready to enter the academy, learn the rules, and do our best." Hey guys, that is the end of the first half of chapter 3. I hope you guys can come visit my channel again soon. I am trying to get these videos out faster. I really am trying, but thank you for watching them. It does mean a lot. And I will see you next time.